So here to solve the Snake Pit X puzzle by Murat and Tonta. It has a fun twins theme, and what I see that is leading to is that right at the start, these clues will have to avoid the other number. You can't have a 4 join into a 4, so recognizing these edges for sure, we can start marking in some of these spaces. And that actually means that these lines, we have effectively new snakes growing out of these spaces. So we get this 4 for sure with a little leftover. Get a line here that's got to be larger than 2. This actually has this 6 extending up, but notice we have another anchor in here. So this 6 is 5 cells right now. Can't join to both of these or we get too large. So it finishes here. On the top right, similar kind of thinking, but now we have 5 plus 2, 7. This would be too small, so this 8 has to come down to continue growing. And a thing to note is that this 8 needs to have a valid ending cell, and it can't end on this cell because it's touching another 8. It can't end on an X, so it always ends here in this checkerboard count of things. So however these connect, this is how that looks. And that means we can come back to this 4, which can't actually take all these cells, and it has to come down here, take at least these 3, and it's not going to be able to turn here for its last cell because that would end on an X. So we sort of have this shape in the grid. We've got an 8 that ends here as a terminus. We've got this 4 that's going to end in one of these cells. It's a pretty good start. We now have 2 things we can think about, and one for sure I'm going to start with is just looking at these X clues. We actually made a corner. We made a corner around a cell that's not an end of a snake. So this is certainly part of the snake and it's going to be growing out. And that actually means this cell is also now a corner and has to be part of a snake that's growing out. So ways to think through what happens based off that. One thing we should note is that this 8 still has to get out pretty far into the grid and has to escape. And it's not going to be part of this channel, but it is part of this channel. So these are coming down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 looks fine, particularly where we see that this 6 doesn't have enough space to come up. We're going to get that the 8 snake looks over like so, wraps up here. This 6 is not able to come up, so it's got to be part of this group. This 6, if it came down one more cell, would come over here and finish with a gap of 2. That's no good, so this has to keep extending to the left. It will always end in this cell, so it's got to do that efficiently. So 6, 4, that's a good packing. Coming back to this space, these corner cells still aren't okay places to end, so this X has to extend, and it can't extend into the 8 snake, so it has to do this. This X is not an okay place to end, so it has to extend there. What that does is completes this 4. There's just enough space for the 2 and the 3. We have a 6 snake and a 2 snake. If those came together, they'd make another 8 snake, so they have to stay apart as 6 and 2. This 8 comes down, and the last thing to do is finish this 8 with a 2 at the end, and we've marked off the whole grid. So really elegant puzzle with just the twin clues and this big space of X's in the center of the grid. We'll have another Snake Pit X at the end of this week. But thinking through how to handle cornering and packing of snakes around X's was pretty key, particularly the center set. Once we had the shape of this 8, this 8, this 4, we had to get a corner and another corner to work this out. That forced a lot of the 6 in the bottom and this other 8 working through this channel. So thanks, Murat, for the puzzle. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you again soon.